All right, guys. The Nigerian state carries the seed of its own destruction. What Nigeria does to itself, no country that genuinely seek to strive can contend with. Indeed, it is difficult, extremely difficult to see a pathway to enduring peace and unity in the country as led. Forget some attractive facade of the superstructure, and it all comes down to leadership or lack of it. The sociological constitution of Nigerian's political elite deserves an exhaustive interrogation. Here is a critical group that vowed, as it seems, never to be faithful to any honest aspiration of the country, to nationhood, working assiduously to pillage all resources within reach, while at the same time undermining basic institutions that sustain the state. Sadly, while the country is already in a ditch, the political leadership elite is digging deeper. Nigeria does often appear as a classical example of a kingdom divided against itself, which the scripture refers to. The ultimate fate of such a kingdom was foretold. While there are various fronts and areas where the tragedy of poor leadership manifests across Nigeria, the Southeast is at the movement. Perhaps the ultimate phase of Nigerians' determination to undo itself. It may yet succeed. Again, it comes down to leadership or lack of it in addressing existential problems of the state. History is here for references. From 1967 to 1970, Nigeria fought a bitter, destructive UN civil war that pitched one part of the country, the East, against the rest. In prosecuting the war, Nigeria secured the service of Egyptian and Russian mercenaries, among others, especially in the air. These foreigners weighed in decisively to execute campaign. All is, of course, fair in war. So, there may not be anything exceptional about the procurement of mercenaries to fight a war. In 1960, the Nigerian Civil War ended. Thereafter, the two warring sides, held to one entity, resumed their common existence as a country, with citizens continuing where they stopped in their way tied social and economic lives for all of 45 years, in spite of the enshrined burden of ethnic differences. Nigeria, why they had constantly been charges of injustice and marginalization from the Southeast as a consequences of the Civil War. They had also been both symbolic and substantial marks that the country was moving on in cemently putting the memories of the Civil War behind it. Then Muhammad Buhari happened. In 2025, the retired infantryman became president in a democratic government. History will record it to Buhari's credit that he successfully re-sophisticated a war that ended 45 years earlier and made it a major agenda. If his presidency for almost all of his 8 years tenure, while most other Nigerians had substantially put the war behind them and moved on, Buhari added not seem to believe that the war had ended. What he did as a president often betrayed what he thought or even said at some instances. Until 2016, a year after Buhari arrived the presidency, the Southeast was by far the most peaceful and secured part of the country. Somehow, Buhari leached on a loose group of youths marching on streets around some cities in the southeast, protesting marginalization, and used that as an entry point. His government subsequently ordered heavy security onslaught against the youth under the banner of Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, that became the root of criminalization of non-violent youth and subsequently the launch pad for Buhari's war against agitators of the Southeast. It became as no surprise that Buhari comfortably looked away from terrorists ravaging the northern fringes that preceded a prescribed the non-violent IPOB as a terrorist organization. In a bid to promote IPOB as a terrorist organization, guns were pumped into the southeast, mindless killings and all manner of criminalities became rift mostly carried out by what even security agencies doubled unknown gunmen. None of the ghost Rambos were even apprehended. There were and remains many theories about who was masterminding what crime in the southeast. For sure, criminals of all sorts spotted once IPOB was linked with the violence on agendum was accomplished, but at what cost and to what end? Every time Nigerian army forces and the police declare confrontation with IPOB and Eastern Security Network (ESN), the security arm of IPOB in the southeast, there is always an air of incredulity in many IPOB. IPOB may have been pushed to a corner, but the group, by its known consent and agenda, was not a violent group. Worse than words, incidents of security agencies quickly attributing all criminalities in the southeast to IPOB, even before any investigation, betrayed a mindset and agenda. Of course, criminal elements of all categories now took to hiding behind the tag of IPOB. The major problem in the southeast become how to know which IPOB is IPOB and which was shared criminality, but that seems to serve the purpose of some interest. Enter Asari Dokubo, an inexorable violent militant in the Niger Delta area, who in the wake of President Umaru Yar'Adua resolving the Niger Delta agitation for FELD for oil communities, became a hired gun. It has turned out that under the Buhari government, someone hired Asari Dokubo and his gunmen and unleashed them on the southeast. The killings by known and unknown gunmen made some people happy. Dokubo is not the type to hide his activities. He has always publicly said what he was into. Last Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2024, a video featuring an interview with Asari Dokubo went viral. The clip boomed light on the license granted him by the government of Nigeria to kill in the southeast. When the interviewer in the video asks Asari Dokubo whether he has resolved his misunderstanding with the military, hear him. I did not have any face-off with the military. They are the people looking for a face-off. Even today as we are talking, now in Imo State, the military people, the army, the navy are standing side by side with my men fighting at Okigwe and Idota, now in Imo. So some of them coming to make this thing, I laugh. You know why they do these things? Is they are working for federal government. So there are certain things they cannot say. What they cannot say to other people, they are saying that insurgency will not end. Who is Simon Ekpa? As I am talking with you, the interviewer, we have destroyed visually all Eastern and IPOB camp. As we are talking now, we are standing side by side with them. the Nigerian Army Forces in Okigwe in operation. He added, for clarity, when you are frightened for self-determination, it can take any means because the person oppressing you will not allow you to go. The person opposing you will do everything to keep you. So it is not a new something. It is not new. Over 2 weeks after this video went viral, the Nigerian Army Forces are yet to issue a statement denying proclamations of Asari Dokubo. So Asari Dokubo men are standing side by side with men of Nigerian armed forces fighting in some operation in Imo State. People are being killed. Camps and houses are being destroyed by Asari Dokubo on behalf of the Nigerian state. Where are we going to start from? Where are we going to end this? Every now and then, the Nigerian police, the Nigerian army, all in southeast, in the name of fighting agitators, we hear unknown gunmen every day. But the question now is, with all this happening, who is the unknown gunman? The IPOB, according to the Nigerian government, or the Nigerian government itself? This is really disturbing. So guys, I'm dropping it here. Kindly drop your comment to, please pardon me, kindly drop your comments, okay, below the comment section. Share this video, make it go viral so that Nigerians can understand what is happening today in the Nigerian political landscape. Thank you and bye for now.